Salmon is celebrated as the king of a healthy heart, a symbol of longevity and good nutrition. Magazines, doctors, and commercials repeat the same mantra: eat more salmon. But what almost no one tells you is that, for many seniors, it can become a trap disguised as health. This happens because what ends up on your plate isn't always what you imagine. Behind that pink, succulent flesh lies enormous variations in origin, preparation method, and nutritional quality. And believe me, some seemingly harmless details can compromise your heart, your brain, and even your joints. Salmon can be a natural remedy or a mistake that accelerates aging, depending on how you choose and prepare it. For decades, it has been promoted as a supreme source of omega-3, a nutrient that reduces inflammation and protects against degenerative diseases. And this is true, as long as the fish is pure, well-prepared, and combined with the right foods. The problem is that most people, without realizing it, negate all these benefits with small everyday choices. Perhaps you're making these mistakes right now and don't even know it. It's the kind of detail that seems trivial, but it explains why some older people remain tired, achy, and have uncontrolled cholesterol, even when trying to eat well, creating silent frustration. Science has shown that salmon quality varies more than one might imagine. There are stark differences between wild salmon, which lives in cold, clean seas, and farmed salmon, fed artificial feed and dyes to appear healthy. This contrast completely changes the nutritional value and impact on the body. While one helps balance natural defenses, the other can carry heavy metals and antibiotic residues. Interestingly, many people who buy the more expensive salmon are taking home precisely the least beneficial, paying more for inferior quality. And there's another point that almost no one talks about: the way it's prepared. Frying salmon at high temperatures, using inappropriate oils, or accompanying it with the wrong garnishes can turn what should be a shield against inflammation into a silent trigger for premature aging. The flavor remains good, but the effect on the body changes completely. It's like exchanging a medicine for a dose of poison without realizing it, negating the expected benefits. But before you consider eliminating salmon from your diet, understand, the problem isn't the fish itself, but the habits surrounding it. Eating well isn't just about choosing the right food, it's about knowing what's behind it, how it was raised, prepared, and what it was paired with. When you understand these details, you begin to realize that healthy eating is much more than following nutritional fads. It's about deciphering what your body truly needs to function in perfect harmony. In the next few minutes, you'll discover the 10 most dangerous mistakes many make with salmon. Some of them are so common that they go unnoticed even by self-proclaimed experts. The last one, especially, could be silently sabotaging your daily vitality. Stay with me until the end, because every detail can make a difference in your health, energy, and longevity. And if you enjoy content that debunks myths and reveals the truth about what really works after 60, subscribe now and turn on notifications. This way, you'll continue learning to use food as allies, not traps. Because the next discovery starts right here, transforming knowledge into daily protection. Imagine a fish raised in overcrowded tanks, fed artificial feed, and never seen the open ocean. It grows too fast, fattened with chemicals, and is dosed with antibiotics to resist diseases caused by confinement. Now, imagine this fish being sold as fresh, healthy salmon. This is how much of the farmed salmon industry works, and it's the first major mistake many make when trying to take care of their health. Farmed salmon, contrary to popular belief, can contain residues of antibiotics, heavy metals, and synthetic dyes used to give the meat that natural orange hue that attracts unsuspecting consumers. Research has shown that, in some countries, farm-raised salmon has worrying levels of dioxins and PCBs, substances linked to hormonal and inflammatory problems. An elderly person's body, naturally more sensitive and with a slower metabolism, tends to accumulate these compounds over time. This means that what should be an ally to natural defenses can actually progressively weaken them. Wild salmon, on the other hand, feeds on plankton and crustaceans, develops firmer muscles, and concentrates true omega-3 fatty acids, which act as natural anti-inflammatories. The difference is so great that two visually identical fillets can have opposite effects within the body, altering inflammation and vitality. But what makes so many people fall into this trap? The answer is simple: marketing. Labels use words like premium, Atlantic, fresh, and color-enriched to create a sense of purity and exclusivity. However,
in many cases, the term Atlantic means just the opposite. It indicates farmed salmon, raised in artificial tanks, not wild Alaskan fish. And the problem is, this isn't always clearly explained. The industry has learned to use confusion to its advantage, selling the illusion of quality. For those over 60, this is especially important. Our bodies depend on the purity of what we eat to maintain vitality. Any chronic inflammation, even mild, accelerates cellular aging, compromises joints, and harms the heart. The right salmon helps reduce all of this, but the wrong one can intensify it. The good news is that it's possible to protect yourself. You just need to know what to look for. Whenever you buy, look for terms like wild caught on the packaging and be wary of excessively low prices or bright, uniform colors. Real salmon has variations in hue and a firmer texture, signs of natural growth. And even if the fish is the right one, the care doesn't end there. The next big mistake happens in your own kitchen, and it can transform all those precious nutrients into harmful compounds. The type of heat, the oil used, and the cooking time can be the real villains behind a seemingly perfect meal. Many believe that grilling or frying is enough to bring out the best in salmon, but science shows otherwise. Excessive heat destroys what the body needs most. And this almost invisible detail is the second blow to the silent health of those trying to age with vitality, robbing them of expected benefits. When salmon hits the pan and the oil starts to sizzle, many of its most valuable ingredients begin to disappear. Healthy fats, omega-3 fatty acids, and antioxidants are extremely sensitive to heat. Frying fish or leaving it exposed to high temperatures for too long causes these molecules to transform, generating inflammatory compounds, precisely the opposite of what you want when eating salmon. The same goes for a very hot oven or grilling over direct coals. The darker the exterior, the more it loses strength on the inside. And your body feels it. Joint pain, fatigue upon waking, and even memory lapses can be linked to the frequent consumption of oxidized foods, creating a cycle of progressive decline. It's understandable. For years, the practice of searing salmon has been popular as a sign of flavor and sophistication. However, this technique in practice sacrifices nutritional content. Studies show that omega fatty acids lose stability after 120 degrees Celsius, and common cooking oil can easily exceed 200 degrees. The result is a beautiful dish, but devoid of benefits. And for those over 60, every nutrient counts. The body doesn't regenerate as quickly as it used to, and cells need all the help they can get to maintain active natural defenses, protecting against disease and wear and tear. The smartest way to prepare salmon is one that respects its natural environment. Steaming, lightly baking, or quickly grilling with extra virgin olive oil preserves not only the flavor, but also the healthy fats. Olive oil, in fact, is a powerful ally. Its antioxidant properties help protect omega fatty acids from heat, preventing them from degrading so easily. Another trick is to add fresh herbs like rosemary or thyme, which contain compounds that neutralize some free radicals formed during cooking. These are small gestures that make a real difference, transforming a meal into preventative medicine. But the problem isn't limited to temperature. Many people sabotage salmon when seasoning it. Ready-made sauces, industrial mixes, and marinades with excessive salt and sugar hide dangers that go unnoticed. They alter blood pressure, inflame the liver, and overload the kidneys. The flavor may seem irresistible, but the price is high for the body. Thus, even those who choose the right seasoning and preparation can miss out on the benefits because of a simple, colorful bottle on the kitchen shelf. And this is precisely where the third most common mistake lies: seasoning that disguises the poison and robs your body of its ability to protect itself, creating hidden inflammation. This is where many fall into the trap of easy flavor. A creamy sauce, a ready-made marinade, a gourmet supermarket touch, it all seems harmless until you read the ingredients list. Sugar, corn syrup, glutamate, colorings, stabilizers, and, above all, excess sodium. These additives turn salmon into a silent bomb for the cardiovascular system. Excess salt retains fluids, raises blood pressure, and compromises kidney function. Sugar fuels chronic inflammation, which affects joints and accelerates cellular oxidation. The result is a more tired, less flexible body with overwhelmed natural defenses, sapping daily energy. Most ready-made sauces are designed to mask the flavor of frozen or inferior fish. Therefore, they're full of artificial enhancers that fool the palate but confuse the metabolism. And the problem is, the longer we live,
the harder it becomes to process these compounds. The liver and kidneys have to work twice as hard, which can lead to bloating, headaches, and seemingly inexplicable blood pressure spikes. It's a typical mistake that begins with a desire to make a dish more flavorful and ends up silently sabotaging our health, compromising well-being. For those seeking longevity, the solution lies in the basics done right. The ideal seasoning for salmon is simple: extra virgin olive oil, lemon, fresh herbs, and a pinch of sea salt. These combinations respect the food's natural ingredients and enhance its healthy fats. Furthermore, lemon and herbs offer antioxidant compounds that strengthen cellular defenses. It's a harmony between flavor and healing, something nature balanced long before industry attempted to imitate, proving that simplicity is key. But even when choosing the right seasoning, many people still make mistakes before they even reach the kitchen. The danger begins in the supermarket, in the tiny words on the label that almost no one reads. The packaging is designed to confuse. It uses expressions that seem positive but hides details that make all the difference between a healing food and one full of toxins. And that's where the fourth mistake comes in: not knowing how to identify true wild salmon and ending up taking home an artificial version disguised as healthy, wasting both your investment and your health. How many times have you picked up a package of salmon without actually reading the fine print? That's where most people go wrong. The fourth most common mistake is relying too much on appearance rather than words. The label is the map of truth, and it reveals much more than it seems. Terms like Atlantic salmon or added color indicate farmed fish, almost always fed artificial feed and pigments. True wild salmon, on the other hand, is labeled wild-caught or Alaskan because it comes from cold, clean waters where the fish naturally feed. This difference changes everything: the amount of omega-3, the type of fat, the flavor, and even the texture of the meat, profoundly impacting health. The mistake happens because manufacturers know how much consumers associate vibrant color with quality. To maintain this illusion, they add synthetic pigments derived from artificial astaxanthin, a compound that mimics natural color but lacks the antioxidant power of the original. Thus, the salmon appears fresh but contains an inert or even toxic substance. And most worryingly, continued consumption of these dyes accumulates in the body over the years, affecting the liver, kidneys, and even vision. For those over 60, this means more inflammation, less energy, and increasingly slowed defenses, progressively sapping vitality. Learning to read labels is like putting a magnifying glass on your health. Also consider the place of origin. Norway, Chile, and Canada account for a large portion of farm production, while Alaska and Scotland are leaders in wild-caught salmon. Always choose products that mention no additives, no dyes, or sustainably caught. And be wary of fillets with a very uniform pink color. Wild salmon has natural variations in firmer fibers. The visual difference is subtle, but the impact on the body is profound, determining whether food is nutritious or toxic. And even if you make the right choice, the same mistakes can continue into the next dish. Many people combine salmon with seemingly healthy sides, white rice, mashed potatoes, and sweet wine, believing they're doing everything right. However, these combinations actually block the absorption of some nutrients and generate glucose spikes that inflame the body. The right salmon loses its potency when combined with the wrong one. And this is the fifth and sixth mistake that silently sabotages the healing power of this food, robbing it of benefits that should protect the heart and brain. Few people realize that the real villain of a healthy meal can be right next to the main course. Salmon, full of good fats and high-quality proteins, loses some of its value when combined with foods that stimulate inflammation and imbalance metabolism. This is the case with white pasta, bread, highly processed potatoes, and sweet wines. All of these foods have a high glycemic index, cause blood sugar spikes, and trigger reactions that oxidize the healthy fats in fish. The result is a paradox: the body receives the right nutrition but fails to reap its benefits. For those seeking vitality after 60, this means less energy and more fatigue disguised as normal routine, creating a vicious cycle. Another common mistake is using refined vegetable oils, such as soybean, canola, or corn, to grill or sauté salmon. These oils are rich in omega-6, a type of fat that, in excess, causes inflammation. The body's natural balance depends on the ratio of omega-3 to omega-6, and when this balance gets out of whack, subtle symptoms appear: joint pain, loss of focus, irritation, and difficulty sleeping. In other words, by using the wrong oil, you negate the main reason for eating salmon. It's like buying expensive medicine and immediately throwing it away, wasting your investment in health. The ideal combination is simple and powerful: salmon quickly grilled in extra virgin olive oil, accompanied by green vegetables like broccoli, spinach, or asparagus. These contain sulforaphane and chlorophyll, which help the liver eliminate toxins and strengthen natural defenses. A touch of lemon and fresh herbs also enhances nutrient absorption and aids digestion. With this balance, the body enters a natural cycle of recovery: less inflammation, more energy, and a clearer mind, allowing vitality to flourish naturally. But there's something almost no one talks about: even the best food can become a problem when consumed in excess. Eating salmon every day may seem like the perfect approach, but the human body wasn't designed to continually receive the same source of fat and protein. Besides increasing the risk of accumulating heavy metals like mercury, repeated consumption reduces the diversity of the gut microbiota, one of the pillars of immunity. And when this happens, natural defenses gradually weaken. The next mistake is precisely this: believing that more is always better, when the secret to longevity lies in the balance that respects the body's natural rhythm. The seventh mistake is the most insidious of all: believing that, because it's healthy, salmon can be eaten every day without consequences. The truth is that the human body needs variety, not repetition. Eating the same food repeatedly creates an internal imbalance that affects the intestinal flora, metabolism, and even the immune system. Dietary diversity is one of the keys to healthy aging because it exposes the body to different nutrients, fibers, and bioactive compounds that keep natural defenses constantly adapting. When a diet becomes monotonous, the body becomes sluggish and vulnerable, the exact opposite of the vitality we seek after 60, undermining natural resistance. Furthermore, salmon, even wild salmon, contains small amounts of mercury and other substances that, in excess, can accumulate over time. Younger bodies handle this load better, but as we age, the liver and kidneys become less efficient at eliminating heavy metals. Eating salmon every day is like letting a glass drip slowly. The accumulation is barely noticeable until it overflows in the form of inflammation, persistent fatigue, and mental sluggishness. Therefore, ideally, eat salmon 2 to 3 times a week, alternating with other sources of protein and healthy fats, such as sardines, mackerel, trout, or even free-range eggs, creating nutritious variety. Another reason to avoid daily consumption is that excess omega-3, when not balanced, can alter blood clotting and interfere with the immune response. What was once a shield can become a vulnerability. The key is pacing, giving the body time to absorb, utilize, and renew. Just as rest is an essential part of training, intervals are an essential part of nutrition, allowing for adequate cellular recovery. But the danger isn't just in frequency. There's a hidden error in the routine of those who store salmon at home and believe they're being careful. The freezing and thawing process, often done automatically, can completely compromise its nutritional value and open the door to invisible bacteria. It's a detail that goes unnoticed, but it directly impacts intestinal health and, consequently, immunity. The next mistake shows how the simple act of taking fish out of the freezer can determine whether it nourishes or harms your body, creating a silent risk. The eighth mistake happens in the rush of everyday life, when salmon leaves the freezer and goes straight to the sink or frying pan. Improper thawing destroys sensitive proteins, accelerates bacterial growth, and alters texture and flavor. Most people leave fish at room temperature, believing it to be harmless. But while the exterior softens, the interior remains frozen, creating an ideal environment for microorganisms to multiply. This invisible process compromises the digestive system and can generate subtle inflammation that older adults experience as vague malaise, aches, and chronic fatigue. Gut health is the foundation of immunity, and anything that disrupts it weakens the entire body, undermining natural defenses. The correct method is simple: salmon should be thawed slowly, preferably in the refrigerator, protected by a closed container to prevent contamination. This process can take 12 to 24 hours, but it ensures that the fish retains healthy fats and intact proteins. Another serious mistake is refreezing salmon after it has been thawed. Each freezing and thawing cycle alters cellular structure, reducing quality and increasing the risk of contamination. Apparently safe food can become dangerous without changing its smell or appearance, deceiving the senses. There's also a little remembered detail: many people store raw salmon alongside other foods in the freezer, especially red meat or chicken. This facilitates the transfer of microorganisms and residues, even when food is frozen. Separating each type of protein is a golden rule that helps preserve not only flavor but also food safety. These simple precautions, when applied consistently, become part of your longevity routine, protecting your health in an invisible but powerful way. Now that you understand how handling salmon affects your health, it's time to address an even deeper misconception, believing that by eating salmon, you're already getting all the omega-3 your body needs. This belief is dangerous because it creates a false sense of security. Many older adults consume salmon believing it's protecting their hearts, but still have low blood levels of the nutrient. Before continuing, tell us in the comments where you're watching from and if salmon is part of your routine. This way, I can better understand how each region handles this food and provide more specific tips for you. Now, see why mistake number 9 is the most common among those trying to age healthily, creating an invisible nutritional gap. The 9th mistake is believing that salmon alone provides all the omega-3 the body needs. The truth is that even wild salmon contains varying amounts of these fatty acids, and absorption capacity varies from person to person. The human body relies on specific enzymes to convert omega-3s into active anti-inflammatory substances, and as we age, this process becomes less efficient. In other words, even eating salmon several times a week, many older adults remain omega-3 deficient without realizing it. This deficiency manifests subtly: dry skin, stiff joints, memory impairment, and constant fatigue. Blood thickens, circulation loses fluidity, and natural defenses slow down, paving the way for silent inflammation that erodes vitality. Another important point is the type of salmon and its diet directly influence omega-3 content. Farmed fish, fed grains and processed feed, have up to 5 times less EPA and DHA than wild salmon. Therefore, those who buy salmon without evaluating its origin believe they are consuming a rich source, but in reality they are consuming a common food, high in saturated fat and with little protective effect. It's like buying medicine and receiving only packaging, wasting financial and health investment. The best strategy is to diversify sources. Sardines, mackerel, and herring are smaller fish, with a lower risk of heavy metal contamination and richer in bioavailable omega-3. For those who prefer plant-based options, flaxseed and chia seeds are excellent, as long as they are freshly ground, as the hulls prevent absorption. And, in some cases, supplementation under medical supervision may be necessary, especially when there is cardiovascular disease, diabetes, or chronic inflammation that requires specialized care. Relying solely on salmon is a nutritional logic error. Health doesn't depend on one food in isolation, but on the synergy between several. Therefore, the ideal is to build a menu where each meal reinforces the other. And this is where the 10th mistake arises, perhaps the most dangerous of all, believing that salmon is a universal cure. This belief leads many to ignore sleep, movement, and overall body balance, believing that eating well is enough to age healthily. But the body doesn't work that way, and understanding this can completely change your relationship with food, transforming food into true medicine. The 10th mistake stems from a seductive but dangerous idea, believing that salmon is some kind of miracle food, capable of curing everything on its own. This belief is reinforced by advertisements that portray active, smiling, and youthful-looking people, as if the secret to vitality lay in a single dish. However, human biology is much more complex. No food, no matter how nutritious, can compensate for sleepless nights, a sedentary lifestyle, constant stress, or lack of hydration. Salmon is powerful, yes, but within a balanced context, as part of a lifestyle consistent with what the body needs to regenerate, creating internal harmony. Nutrition is a system of balance. Omega-3s only work effectively if there's an adequate intake of antioxidants, fiber, and minerals. Fish proteins only work if the body is hydrated and cells have enough energy to absorb nutrients. This is why some people eat right and still don't feel any difference. They forget that health isn't the result of a single food, but rather a set of habits. Eating well is like a cog in a machine, and just one misplaced part can render the entire system inefficient, undermining expected results. On the other hand, when this mechanism works, the results are impressive. Better sleep, body movement, and stress management enhance the effects of diet. This is where salmon shows its true power, as part of a lifestyle that nourishes natural defenses from the inside out. The heart works more smoothly, the brain becomes more alert, and joints regain fluidity. The body responds intelligently, as if recognizing balance and deciding to cooperate, activating natural healing mechanisms. The most inspiring thing is that it's never too late to start over. Even those who spent years making these 10 mistakes can reverse the damage with small daily changes. Just a few days of consistent choices are enough to notice subtle differences: waking up with more energy, easier digestion, deeper sleep. If this video can help someone who still believes salmon solves everything, share it now. They may need to hear what you just learned, that health is not a myth, it's applied knowledge. And true strength lies in the choices we make, day after day, building a healthier future. After learning about the 10 most dangerous mistakes, it's time to understand what really works. The truth is that salmon can be one of the greatest allies of longevity, as long as it's treated with respect. The first rule is origin: choose wild salmon, caught in cold waters, with the wild-caught label on the packaging. It has more omega-3 and less saturated fat. The second is preparation: use low-heat, extra virgin olive oil and avoid frying. This combination preserves fatty acids and prevents heat from destroying what the body needs most. The third is harmony of the dish: the more colors, the more vitality. Combine fish with dark green vegetables, lemon, turmeric, garlic, and fresh herbs. Each of these ingredients boosts natural defenses, reduces inflammation, and improves circulation, creating a powerful synergy. Another essential point is weekly balance. Eating salmon 2 or 3 times a week is enough to reap the benefits without risking heavy metal accumulation. On other days, vary your protein sources with sardines, free-range eggs, legumes, and small portions of lean meat. This alternation nourishes your gut microbiome, which is largely responsible for immunity and mood. Taking care of your gut is taking care of your mind, and this is something that science now clearly confirms, demonstrating a deep connection between digestion and mental well-being. Staying well hydrated is another pillar that many people underestimate. Omegas and antioxidants only circulate efficiently in a properly hydrated body. A simple glass of water upon waking helps the liver eliminate toxins and keeps the blood more fluid, allowing nutrients to reach their intended destination. Movement is also part of this equation. Walking, stretching, and keeping muscles active stimulate oxygenation and strengthen the heart, enhancing the effects of nutrition and creating a virtuous cycle of health. The secret lies in transforming knowledge into practice. When you understand how each choice influences your body, you stop being held hostage by fads and start taking control of your own health. Salmon, then, stops being just a trendy food and becomes what it always should have been: an ally of vitality and natural defenses. And this brings us to the final point, the most important of all. Because, in the end, it's not what we eat occasionally that defines health, but what we do every day with what we learn, transforming information into consistent action. The true power of nutrition lies in what we do with what we learn. Now that you know how to avoid mistakes and get the most out of salmon, it all comes down to applying this knowledge consistently. Small daily changes create big transformations over time. Each conscious choice sends a message to the body: I want to live well, with energy and clarity. And the body responds. It adapts, regenerates, and strengthens its natural defenses when it realizes it's getting what it truly needs. Eating well isn't a luxury, it's a gesture of self-care and respect for the future, building a solid foundation for longevity. There's no age limit for a fresh start. Even those who spent decades believing myths or repeating automatic habits can redefine the course of their own health. Every meal is an opportunity for cellular reconstruction, a chance to repair what's been damaged and nourish what still thrives. The right salmon, prepared the right way, with the right accompaniments, is more than food, it's a tool for longevity. And when combined with restorative sleep, movement, and serenity, the result is a harmonious body and a peaceful mind, allowing for a full and vibrant life. Think about this the next time you cook: every dish can be a natural remedy, as long as you treat it as such. Avoid excess, be wary of shortcuts, and always choose a path that respects nature, both the food's and your own. Because the balance you seek is in your hands and begins on your plate, transforming each bite into a conscious investment in lasting vitality. If this video made you see salmon in a different light, subscribe to the channel now and continue learning how to use food as allies for your body and mind. Each new content is designed to help you strengthen your 5 natural defenses, slow aging, and live with vitality. After all, eating well isn't just about the present, It's about preparing your body for a lighter, clearer, and more vibrant future, where each day is lived with fullness and renewed energy.